All right, guys, welcome to a fairly easy lesson today, mainly because it was a lot like yesterday's assignment, only it's subtracting. There might be a few other things that we have to do here, but it's not that bad. So make sure that you tear out pages 683 to 688. All right. Make sure you put your name on it and you have your staple. One staple on there. All right. One staple. Today's essential question, just like it was yesterday. All right. How can equivalent fractions help me add and subtract fractions? All right. So today we're going to subtract fractions. One king crab. Yummy. One king crab weighs 2 3/4 of a pound. A second king crab weighs 1 1/4 pounds. How much more does the one king crab weigh? Use models to find the difference. Okay. Well, we're not going to use models. All right. We're going to just do what we did yesterday and just straight up subtract. And for this one, like yesterday, when we said all together, that tells you that you're going to add. All right. That's good. Now, for today, it's obviously most likely it's going to be the biggest whole number is the one that you're going to subtract from. All right, so we have 2 3/4 because 2 is bigger than 1. That's how we know on that one. And then all we got to do is subtract, guys. We subtract our. They did like an estimate thing. Again, we're not really going to mess with the estimate too much. We're going to just go straight into it. So we have 2 3/4 minus 1 1/4. So then I always have to ask, or you should ask, are the denominators the same? And if they are the same, then obviously you can go ahead and subtract those two numbers. And we can because they are both 4s. So we do 3 minus 1, which is 2, and then we leave our denominator the same. Okay, that part we're used to, and then of course we do 2 minus 1, which is 1. Then you say, well, can I simplify this 2/4? We can, because we can divide both of these by 2, which gives us, don't forget your whole number, 1 1/2. So you should have 1 1/2 here. All right, so the first king crab weighs about one, actually it does weigh exactly 1 1/2 pounds more than the second. Okay, so that's just, again, it's an extenuation of what we did yesterday. Now we're going to have some bigger numbers here, as you can see, and then the denominators, of course, are not the same. So we have to get the denominators the same. And that's what they've done right here, where they've used the 16 part right here, and then they have to convert this 2 5/8. So you see that they've done up here, they said, well, to get 16, because that's what we want to use, we're going to multiply 8 times 2. Well, then we got to multiply the top number 5 times 2. Okay, and that gives us 10. So we have 2 10/16. You got to remember 2 10/16 is the same as 2 5/8. Okay, you just got to remember that part of it. And since this 2 right here is smaller, obviously, than a 6, that means that that's going to go right here as the second number. So now we just get to subtract. We say 11 minus 10 equals 1. Our denominator is 16. And then we say 6 minus 2, which is 4. Pretty easy, right? So you have 4, and of course you got the 1 on top, so you're finished. So 4 1/16. It's not too bad, is it? Let's look down here at the bottom. All right, so we have the denominators are the same, so we can go ahead and subtract. What's 2 minus 1? 1 over 3, because that's the 3 right there. And then what is 4 minus 2? 2. Again, we have a 1 up top, so we are finished. Next one. Denominators are the same, so we can say 4 minus 2, which is 2 over the 5. And then what's 5 minus 3? 2. Those are pretty easy, aren't they? Pretty easy. And then Lauren would say, what steps would we have to take to find this problem right here? Well, I would do the whole numbers first. So I'd say 3 minus 2 is 1. And then I'd say 5 minus 3, because the denominators are the same. 5 minus 3 is 2 over 8. And then I would say, well, I can divide both numerator and denominator by 2, which gives me one whole number, and that gives me 1 over 4. Okay, let's look at the independent practice here. So we look at the denominators and we say, well, the denominators are not the same, so we need to get them the same. And then we look up here and say, well, the 2 goes into 4, so we're going to use the 4 here. So that stays the same. How many times do you multiply 2 by to get 4? 2. So we're going to multiply this one by 2, which gives us 2. So now we subtract 3 minus 2, which is 1 over the denominator 4. And then we subtract these whole numbers, 5 minus 2, which is 3. So our answer is 3 1/4. Are the denominators the same? Yes, they are, 7. So we can go ahead and just subtract this. What's 5 minus 3? 2 over the denominator 7. What's 6 minus 3? 3. And we're finished because 2 doesn't go into 7 evenly, and 2 is a prime number, and 7 is as well. Next one, are the denominators the same? No. So we're going to make them the same. 3 goes into 9, so I'm going to use 9. I like it when they make them easy like that. What do you multiply 3 by to get 9? 3. So we're going to multiply this top one by 3, which gives us 3. So we have 8 ninths minus 3 ninths. So 8 minus 3 is 5, and then the denominator is 5. 7 minus 2, or 5, is 2. I'll give you the answer there and try to do the problem. Next one. Are the denominators the same? They are not. Therefore, does 3 go into 12? Yes, it does. So we're going to use the 12 up top here. And we're going to use the 12 down here. All right. What do you multiply 3 by to get 12? Yep, 4. So we're going to times this top one by 4, which gives us 4/12. Subtract 11 minus 4. That gives us 7 over 12. That fraction looks done because 7 is prime and doesn't fit into 12 evenly. 15 minus 4 is 11. So 11 7/12. Are the denominators the same? They are not. So we need to make them the same. 5 does fit into 10, so we're going to use the 10. We multiply 5 by 2 to get 10, so we need to multiply this 2 by 2, which gives us 4. That 9 stays the same. Subtract those, and you get 9 minus 4 is 5 over 10. 13 minus 4 is 9. I can simplify this because I know that I can divide both of those by 5, which gives me 9 1/2. Next one. The denominators are not the same. We have a 3 and a 6, so we're going to use the 6 because I know that 3 does fit inside of 6. So we're going to use a 6 for the top and bottom. 3 times 2 equals 6, so I need to take 1 times 2, which gives me 2. And this stays the same. Subtract those. 5 minus 2 is 3 over the bottom 6. 12 minus 7 is 5. I can divide both of these by 3. So I have my whole number, and then I have 1/2 again. Pretty easy. Pretty easy. Down here at the bottom, 8 3/8 minus 2 1/4. Okay, so obviously the denominators have to be the same, right? So 4 goes into 8, so we're going to use 8 here. We multiply 4 by 2 to get 8, so you need to multiply 1 by 2, which gives us 2. What is 3 minus 2? It gives us 1. The denominator is 8. And then we take 8 minus 2, which is 6. We're finished. Denominators are not the same, so we're going to use 2 does go into 8, so we're going to use 8. 2 times 4 equals 8, so 1 times 4 equals 4. And then we take 7 minus 4, which is 3, over the denominator 8. 7 minus 4 is 3. Again, this is just a repeat of yesterday's. That's why I'm going fairly quick through it because a lot of it's just repeat. All right. And if you need me to slow down, obviously hit pause on your video. And the secret letter today is going to be the letter M. M for M&M. You know, like the candy M&M. So the letter is M today. All right. So the next one we have Denominators are not the same, so we have to find it. 5 goes into 10. We're going to use 10. 5 times 2 equals 10, so 2 times 2 equals 4. Get rid of that. 7 minus 4 is 3 over 10. 12 minus 7 is 5. So 5 3/10. Notice how I circled the answer. It helps me, helps your teachers, whoever's grading your page. It helps them to be able to find your answer quicker. Okay, down here at the bottom, denominators are the same. Easy. All right, so just take 11 minus 1, which is 10 over 12. 11 minus 2 is 9. Hopefully you see that both of these are even numbers, and we can divide them both by 2. So that's going to give us 9. That's the whole number. Top one is 5, 6, 9, and 5/6. Easy as that. Next one, the denominators are not the same, so we have to make it. 7 goes into 14, so we're going to use 14 over here. 7 times 2 equals 14, so 2 times 2 is 4. Get rid of that. And now we subtract. What is 9 minus 4? We get 5 over the denominator, and then 14 minus 5 is 9 and 5/14. All right, number 14. Again, the denominators are not the same. So 5 does go into 15, so we're going to use 15 over here. 5 times 3 is 15, so 2 times 3 is 6. Get rid of that. Now we take 11 minus 6, which is 5 over the denominator, 15. And then 18 minus 9 is 9. And then hopefully you see you can divide both of these by 5, which is going to give us the whole number. And then this one is 1. And this one is 3, 9 and 1/3. 9 and 1/3. All right. Now we have the back side, and then you'll be free to do your homework here. The length of Mr. Cho's garden is 8 5/6. Find the width of Mr. Cho's garden if it is 3 1/6 feet less than. So again, we have our big number, 8 5/6, and then we're taking away 3 1/6. The denominators are the same, so we say 5 minus 1 is 4 over 6, and then 8 minus 3 is 5. We're not finished because we can divide both of these by 2 because they're both even numbers. So we have our whole number here, and then we have 2/3, 5 2/3. Timberly, it's a weird name. Timberly spent 3 4/5 hours, and then Misty spent 2 1/10 hours at gymnastics practice over the weekend. How many more hours did Timberly spend than Misty? So again, we're taking the big number minus that. So we have 3 4/5 minus 2 1/10. Denominators are not the same. 5 does go into 10, so we're going to use a 10 here. 5 times 2 equals 10, so 8, or 4 times 2 equals 8. Get rid of that. And now we have 8 minus 1 is 7 over the denominator 10, and then 3 minus 2 is 1. So 1 7/10 is the answer. Warner lives 9 1/4 blocks away from the ocean. Shelley lives 12 7/8 blocks away from the ocean. How many more blocks does Shelley live away from the ocean than Warner? So we take our bigger number, subtract the little number. So we have 12 7/8 minus 9 1/4. And we see that our denominators are not the same. 4 does go inside of 8, so we're going to use 8 there. 4 times 2 equals 8, so 1 times 2. Get rid of that. What's 7 minus 2? 5. With the denominator 8. 12 minus 9 is 3. 3 5/8. So it seems fairly easy, again, because you've already done this problem, these types of problems. But now with subtraction, we do them separate like this because the next lesson you're going to have to borrow, and that gets a little bit more difficult, and I'll go a little slower on that one. But I think you guys will be fine with it. So again, make sure if you have any questions for the homework right here, you just want to double check, and you want to see, are the denominators the same? If they're not, you got to figure out what denominator you want to use. Like this one here is not so easy So, you can't just say, well, 3 going to 4, no, it won't. Now what do I use? So you got to find the least common denominator or the least common multiple, and you'll be able to figure that one out fairly easy. Down here on the back, again, big number, small number, subtract it. Big number, small number, big number, small number. All right, those are pretty simple. Big number, small number. All right. Key thing is write it in simplest form, where it says write it in simplest form. All right, you want to make sure you write it in simplest form. And then here again, you may have to write that in simplest form. I'm not sure. It may be when you get your answer already. I don't think so. You should be fine. But subtract the small one from the big one. All right. Again, if you've got any questions, make sure that you've at least started the problem so I can see where you guys need the help at. When you're finished, put it in the math box, and we'll go over it on the next day. Thank you guys for watching.